Well, I've been all over Thomas Binger about this document he prepared, his state's motion to admit other acts evidence. He presented this to the Honorable Bruce Schroeder. And boy, I tell you what, I don't know how Judge Schroeder is going to read this without getting livid. I don't know how Judge Schroeder is going to read this without becoming just livid and also laughing out loud a few times. So you'll see some laughter and you'll see some sadness and anger. All of the emotions will come to Bruce Schroeder as he reads this worthless pile of crap. Now, in this document, Binger displays his true strategy for trying to get Kyle convicted. But there may be a bigger strategy involved in this. There may be another reason why he presented this motion. It may be that he presented this motion to get it denied. Hello out there. I am trying to get through.
With his powerful brainwaves cradled in the warmth of reasoning, it's time for Johnnie Walker Dread to straighten you out on a thing or two. Emanating all the way from exciting Las Vegas, Oklahoma, it's the Johnnie Walker Dread Show.
Now you might say, well, that's crazy. Why would you present a document for it to be denied? It's a motion, got to be approved or denied. Why would you put something out there designed to fail? Well, let's go ahead and first figure out what Binger's strategy is, as detailed in this document. We're assuming here that Binger is actually being honest about it. It says here, the defendant's motive for being there that night is a key part of the case. What does that mean? Well, Kyle was there that night in Kenosha. He ended up shooting some people. And of course, pro-Kyles are saying, oh, you know what? He was there to protect some property. He was there to go out and administer aid, which are both shown on video, by the way. And the fact that he ended up killing people was a matter of circumstance. And if you're trying to convict Kyle, you could still take that approach. Keep in mind, the first murder charge is actually a reckless homicide. So you don't have to show that Kyle was out there to try to kill Joseph Rosenbaum that night. You can claim that basically the death of Rosenbaum was just simply Kyle overreacting to a situation which no reasonable person should have done. So you can still convict Kyle without having to go through all this Proud Boy stuff. But that's not Binger's strategy. Furthermore, if you look at the shootings of Anthony Huber and Gage Grosskreutz, you don't need the motive that Kyle was there to go out and kill people that night to convict him of that. All you have to show is that given the circumstances at that moment, when Kyle had the opportunity, he decided to kill Anthony Huber and he tried to kill Gage Grosskreutz. There was never any need for Kyle to have gone to the Kenosha shootings as part of some ulterior motive. But Binger is making that case. Take a look. He did it because he wanted to support a cause that he believed in. What's this cause? Proud Boys. This is a motion to get the evidence about the whole Pudgy's Tavern incident in front of the jury. Binger is trying to make a case that Kyle is a Proud Boy, that he's a member of the Proud Boys organization, and that he went there to Kenosha that night to commit violence on account of the group. You might say, oh, come on. He's not really saying that, is he? Let's read. It says here, he was clearly aligned with the counter-protesters. So the counter-protesters are who? White vigilante groups that have gone there to confront Black Lives Matter and Antifa supporters. And he's saying Kyle was clearly aligned with them. It says here, the defendant deliberately aggravated the situation. A little further down, he was the aggressor, there with the intent to violently clash with those opposed to his beliefs. This lack of remorse on the part of the defendant strongly suggests that it was his intent to commit violence on the night of August 25th, 2020. And so Binger's case is Kyle is a member of the Proud Boys organization. He went there to Kenosha that night to counter protest and to get into a confrontation. That's what Binger is saying. And he needs that Proud Boys Tavern video to make his case. Why? Well, there is no evidence that Kyle is a member of a Proud Boys organization or of any kind of militia or white supremacist or even alt-right organization. They scoured his Facebook and all of his social media accounts. They can't find it. And so for Binger to make this claim here, he needs that Pudgy's Tavern incident in front of the jury somehow. Now, he has no prayer of getting this approved. This occurred well after the shootings. And so you got a little bit of a problem there because you can't show that he was a member of an organization of any sort before the shootings or the night of the shootings. And so the judge is going to deny this, and that's going to leave Thomas Clare Binger with no case. Remember, he said the defendant's motive for being there that night is a key part of this case. And so the judge is going to rule against this. And now what's Thomas Clare Binger going to do? Drop the charges. Now that's a prediction, of course, and there's a very strong chance that will never come to pass. But it sort of makes sense. Think about this. Right now, Thomas Clare Binger cannot drop the charges against Kyle Rittenhouse, even if he wanted to. And I have a feeling he's starting to want to. Why? He doesn't have a case, and this is starting to become more and more embarrassing. He's going to be engaged in the trial of the century here, with the world looking on. This is like the Scopes Monkey trial, okay, where your career rests on the outcome. And it's starting to look more and more like you're going to have a trouble winning this thing. There was only one good eyewitness of the Joseph Rosenbaum shooting. That was Richard McGinnis. But Richard McGinnis's testimony supports Kyle. And the videotaped evidence is inconclusive. So how are you going to convince all 12 members to provide a verdict of guilty? The odds are long. And as far as Anthony Huber and Gage Grosskreutz go, it's pretty clear that Kyle's being attacked. I would really have a hard time believing that 12 people watching that video would not come to a conclusion that Kyle acted in self-defense. Here is Thomas Binger persecuting this kid. You can imagine how many on the far right are going to start to react to this. So if you're Thomas Binger and you want out, how do you do it? Well, you say, drop the charges. What's so hard about that? He can't. He can't because of Crystal Kaiser. Crystal is a young black female that's being charged with murder. Who's leading the prosecution of that case? Binger's boss, Gravely. And they think they have the goods on her. But she has generated a lot of good sentiment from the left, who are portraying her as a rape victim who only acted in self-defense. By the way, she's not claiming self-defense, okay? But that's how they view it. So in their mind, this is a persecution of an innocent young girl. And Gravely wants to convict her. He thinks he has the goods on her. And guess what? I think he does as well. That doesn't necessarily mean that the jury will go along with it. But certainly if you look at the evidence in front of him, I think he has a good chance at a conviction here. And so he's not going to want to give up on that. You can imagine what would happen if Thomas Binger drops charges against Kyle Rittenhouse and Gravely continues to prosecute Crystal Kaiser and convicts her. They would tear Kenosha apart. And I'm talking about the left. White supremacist, killed 2 people. It's on video, and they drop the charges. And here we have young black rape victim who only killed in self-defense, and they prosecuted her and convicted her. Can you imagine what the left is going to say about that? They're going to invade Kenosha, and they will dismantle that town building by building, brick by brick. They will burn everything down. And so Binger can't drop the charges against Kyle Rittenhouse. But he may not also want this thing to go to trial. So if you're in this situation, what do? You do exactly what he did here. You make a claim. Our case rests on our ability to show that Kyle Rittenhouse is a member of a white supremacist organization. We all saw him doing this. We all saw him at Pudgy's with those Proud Boys. He's carrying around with those AR-15 rifles too. And he can sell that message to the left, the rioters. And so in their mind, he's got the goods on Kyle. Kyle is obviously guilty. And Binger is doing the great thing by going after this kid. He's going to prosecute this kid. And he has the Pudgy's Tavern incident to demonstrate to the jury that Kyle is guilty. And oh, what the hell's happening here? Judge Bruce Schroeder just shot it down. What happened? What happened? Well, Judge Bruce Schroeder looked at this and said, oh, you have got to be kidding me. This isn't even close to being relevant or admissible. And so Judge Schroeder knocks it down. And now Binger has his excuse. He can go to the left and say, hey, I, as much as you, want to convict this kid, and I, as much as you, know that he's guilty and that we have the evidence of it. But the evil Judge Schroeder won't let us present that evidence to the jury. I don't have a case now. Yes, we scoured his social media accounts, but we couldn't find anything. He probably deleted it. Never minding the fact that deleting it won't have any effect. They can still uncover it. However, a lot on the left don't know that. And so he gets to drop the charges on Kyle. He gets out of this whole brouhaha, and he can turn to the left and say, it wasn't my fault. You all saw that Judge Schroeder. He's one of those old white supremacist types. Well, Binger probably can't say that. That'll get him into a lot of trouble. But he can let the left do it. And so that'll be the narrative. Binger, one of our buddies, tried hard to prosecute this Kyle Rittenhouse kid, had to drop the charges because the judge is squarely in the camp of the right. The charges against Kyle get dropped. Gravely gets to continue prosecuting Crystal Kaiser, and it all works out in the end. Well, maybe not for Crystal Kaiser. So, do you think that's what he's doing here? I don't know. Just a theory, probably a wild one. However, once Judge Schroeder shoots this thing down, it's going to be interesting to see what Thomas Claire Binger does in response. Because at that point, even the anti-Kyles are going to admit that they have problems. After all, your own prosecutor said that the defendant's motive for being there is a key part of this case. But you can't establish it. None of the video testimony shows that Kyle was there to do anything evil. You can't find anything on his social media. And the Pudgy's Tavern incident has been thrown out. What are you going to do? Like my video, subscribe to my channel.